Ron Nicodemus. I have butchered his name 3 or 4 times, so I got it right this time. Ron Nicodemus has been involved in the performing arts for most of his life. When he and his wife Leslie retired and moved here, they looked forward to relaxing and enjoying live performances here in San Miguel, as we all do. There's only one problem. Same problem I had 10 years ago when I moved to San Miguel. How do you find out what's happening and where it is happening? Where there are huge amount, as Robin said, 30 live performances happening the same weekend. But the only ones that know are the insiders. How do you become an insider? How do you go to the civil list or you go to the Facebook pages where people have snips of information so you can find out before rather than finding out what you missed? Right? How many times have you heard a wonderful concert happened yesterday? Okay. So I'm sure we've all experienced this, especially for us and our visitors. I've got a visitor in town. How do I tell him what the right thing is to do? With Ron's background in communication and his love for the performing arts, he took on this challenge for all of us and created the San Miguel Live website. We've invited Ron here today to talk about San Miguel Live, how it came to be, and how you can be an insider and know what's happening in San Miguel. So Ron, please join me, and thank you for coming.
Good morning. I'm not this tall. Well, I want to thank Rotary for inviting me here, and I want to especially thank Ron for the introduction. When I first met with Ron, as I was struggling to launch this business 2.5 years ago and what have you, Ron was very generous. I mean, and here's the man that, 10 years ago embarked upon, making people better informed in San Miguel. And he was very generous, and he said, welcome. Competition makes us all better. And I'll never, forget that, and thank you for that. You also did most of my introduction in my presentation. But anyway. So, how many in here have used San Miguel Live? Oh, that's a good showing. And for those of you who didn't put your hands up, maybe by the end of this, you'll be intrigued enough to go forward. So as Ron mentioned, and we did in our introduction, my wife, Leslie, and I moved here thinking we were retired in 2020, right in the middle of a pandemic. And we both had very intense careers, and we had grandiose ideas for retirement. I envisioned getting up in the morning and doing Tai Chi and picking up my photography again and getting involved in different organizations and what have you. But one of the things that brought us here, was the outstanding performing arts opportunities in this town. And it captured me the first time that we came here. And so we had been here for 9 months, and we're sitting at Paprika one night listening to my favorite Mexican guitar group, Media Luna. They always bring a certain energy into my being. And I've been meeting a lot of people, both visitors and residents, and they were all expressing frustration, just like Ron mentioned, that you'd hear about a great concert after it happened. And so you had regrets. And I'm sitting there, and we were with friends and so forth, and the idea actually was born at Paprika, listening to Media Luna, about creating a site that would, in advance, and have some other features to it as well, which I'll share with you, that allowed people to be the insiders, to let you know in advance when something was happening, and to alleviate some of that frustration. So I'm sitting there based on my back career and so forth, and I said, I can do this. And so there went retirement. I'm still trying to find where it is, but anyway. So briefly, as a background, the first, which prepared me for this, the first 18 years of my career, I was a national television producer and director of the performing arts for PBS and Showtime, on the startup team at CBS Cable, which was the first cable arts network, and so forth, and many others. And in the late 80s, I was recruited to lead one of the top corporate communications companies in New York City. And most of our clients were Fortune 100s. And I learned very fast what pressure was all about, what demands were all about, what levels of excellence. So it was a very good training period for me. And then in the mid-90s, I was fortunate to be recruited by Disney for a new visionary startup project dedicated to lifelong learning. And it was a visionary project of Michael Eisner, the CEO. And so Disney opened up all kinds of new learnings and areas of responsibility. So I was very grateful for that background. So in this time, I had started a number of businesses for myself and with clients, and I knew the building blocks. But here I was, a newbie in a new culture, and there was a lot to learn. So throughout my career, I have always relied very heavily on building alliances and collaborations. So the first thing that I did was to find some business advisors, some people who had been here for a while doing business. So one of the first was Lou Christine, who you all know, I'm sure, with the VIP Club and doing business here for a couple decades at that point. Second was Cami Fenton. And Cami was very generous, and she'd been doing business for 15 years with the San Miguel walking and shopping guide. Of course, Francine at Paprika. No one knew more about music in this town than Francine. And no one during the pandemic did more than Francine to keep the live music scene alive. I mean, she's heroic. And I met with performers, I met with venue owners and managers to formulate, how to go about doing this. And along the line with Fred Dannon at Boleto City. So I'm not a stranger to reaching out and asking for advice and help, and I followed that advice and help. And I built alliances with the Tourism Council and the Tourism Department for the city, and with Cami, with so forth. So I got a lot of good input. So then, what is this going to be? And I knew that I wanted to create a friendly, accessible site that was not run by an administrator. I had a different plan of doing it. No offense, Ron, who's a fabulous administrator. But I wanted it to build a site that could be owned by the performers and the venues themselves and give them the opportunity to post their own events when they come up. And having been around this town, I know many times when an event happens is started to be created in the morning for that night. So, and it changes, it's very fluid. It changes constantly and so forth. So I knew that I wanted a site and I wanted to give this ownership of the sense of their events to the performers and to the venues. And my vision, which fortunately we've been able to realize, was to create a site where the performer or the venue would register very easily. I'll show you in a minute about how to go into the site. And I would approve them one time. That would be make sure that they're actually legitimate. And then after they're approved, they have full access to the site to post all of their events. And they are posting in a very intuitive way into a format and with questions to answer and that sort of thing. But it all gets replicated on the site in a professional, consistent manner. So everything is always there. So that was the idea behind it. I wanted to create something that you can't find on Facebook and many other calendar-based sites, and that was a search feature. So I built into this a very diverse and aggressive way to search for your events 6 months in advance. We have, we're not promoting week by week. It's 6 months in advance. If you got to there was an opera event that was just posted the other day for November. Well, it's on San Miguel Live, which is really wonderful. It had to be easy. It had to have all kinds of links that it, connected everything. So this was a pretty tall task. I hadn't seen anything that was like this before. So I went searching for web developers because I know how to create the architecture and the communications plan for a web device or website, but I'm certainly not technical. And I unfortunately had to fire 3 development companies before I found one here in San Miguel, one in India, one in the United States, and then I finally found this young 21-year-old brilliant web developer right here, born and raised in San Miguel, which was fabulous. And so great to work with and so imaginative. And when I asked him, I said, well, Benjamin, we need to do this. And he'll say, I'm not sure that the software will let us do that. I said, no, Benjamin, we have to do it this way. And he'll go on his computer. We work in the afternoons, on Tuesday afternoons in my living room. And he'll go on his computer and he starts all this stuff, whatever, and stuff's flying all over the screen. I have no idea what he's doing. And 3 minutes later, Benjamin says, okay, I think I can do this. And he'll go out and get the right software and he'll create the code to make everything work and so forth. So that was great. The other thing that I'm really pleased about, I could have built this with teams I put together in the United States based on my background, but everyone who has been part of my team and has contributed to this have been local talent in San Miguel. So even in the first 2 years, as anyone who knows who's started an entrepreneurial business, the first 2 years is shelling money out to make things work, and then you hope you get to a point where you don't have to do that anymore. But I felt good about the fact that I was helping to support the local economy. So that was gratifying. My designer, Tanya, is as good, if not better, than any designer I've used in Madison Avenue in New York City. She's imaginative, she's wonderful, she's so low-keyed, and all the members of my team have been exceptional in those ways. I also built databases during that first year of development. Every musician I could find in town, I had like 350 musicians and contact information, all the venues. I had help from the Department of Culture and Traditions to help me identify, people that I couldn't find and that sort of thing. So I got a lot of input to actually focus what it has become today. So let's take a quick tour. Nope, wrong. Whoops. Oh, going back. Okay. Oh, Diego, may I have the... So you can access San Miguel Live by the URL, and I couldn't believe when I went to get this that no one had already bought this URL, San Miguel Live. And then also we have a QR code, which we use in a lot of our promotions. You just shoot the QR code, takes you right here. Now, a number of things to look at. So first of all, up here, you can access the site in English or in Spanish. If you are a performer or venue, you can actually sign in here. It's hard to actually see because it says login and there's a clock up there going over it for some reason. But anyway, that's where they would log into it. The top of this is typical navigation. This site was developed to be dynamic on all platforms. So mobile phones, tablets like I've got right now, or a laptop. And in Mexico is really special to look at the mobile phone because in Mexico, 95.4% of everyone who accesses the internet accesses it from a mobile phone. So we had to be, compliant with that. So then there are a couple features we built into this. I'm not going to show you all the features, but I have a weekly email blast. And if I were to click here on where you saw up there, weekly delivery, let's see if I can go down here. And you can fill in your name and your email. You go onto our mail list, and automatically at 6 o'clock every Monday morning, you will get a list of all the events for the week. We have been, even in this slow period, it blows my mind. Last week we had 150 events for the week. And things are being added literally, every day. Let me go back down here. The internet in here is just a little bit slow. And then the next thing that I really wanted to create was a really robust search feature. So everybody who signs up with, what is their style of entertainment, what is their genre, a lot of details, so that if you like classical music, or if you like karaoke, theater, dance, I started in my second year integrating film and art events, so art openings and that sort of thing. So I've been expanding. A lot of people said from the beginning, you need to do more. You need to do this and that and everything else. I said, go to Discover SMA. Ron covers all that stuff. I was only going to focus on performing arts and the fine arts. Up here, I want to say, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. So I'm supported by advertising. I have other products too, but these are two basic ads. So this top one is called a gold ad, and the second banner ads are called a silver ad. And there's something very special about the way I position those, and advertisers love it, is because, as you will see, as I scroll on the site, this is not, I'm scrolling, but it's not happening. Oh, okay. As I scroll on the site, the advertising is locked at the top, which is really, really important. And on most digital sites, no matter where you are on the internet, you find an ad and you scroll for the rest of the information, and it scrolls right off the page. So this is a really incredible feature for advertisers. Let me go back down here. So if you are interested in certain things, you can actually search for live music or classical, that sort of thing. You also can search by date. You can search by genre. I want jazz, or I want, salsa music, or whatever it is. Venue type. So we break it down that way so that you can look for. A lot of people don't use all these extra features, but they're there. And if you're looking for something in advance, let me see if I can. You can click here next to the date, and you'll get a calendar. And let's say that I'm looking for something in August, and something the week of August the 5th. Let's see if there's anything happening in August. Oh my word, there it is. Now, these pictures are loading a little slow because of the internet connection here, but you find out everything that's happening that week. It's not just week by week. And there are many other ways to search. Also here, if I go to, you'll see there are performers and venues. I have 150 performers who are registered, and I've got about 85 now venues registered that are doing performance in town. So if I want to go and find a particular performer, I can click on performers. A little slow loading, sorry about that. And I'm sorry, this is a little slow. And the pictures usually come up much faster. But I can go down and find all the different performers who are registered. And let's say that you really love Gabby Espinoza. Let's go down here to find Gabby. Here's Gabby, right here. And you will see it tells you, here's Gabby. And here are all the events she has coming up registered at the moment, 20 events coming up. Okay, so if I click on Gabby for details, it's going to take me to her profile in a minute. And so what we have then, Gabby gets to create this profile. So it's like a mini website for performers. So we've got her biography, we have her genres of music. If she played an instrument, which she doesn't, they would be listed there. As you scroll down a little further, well, normally you would have, she can embed pictures in here or videos of her, so it's a little profile thing. And then as you scroll down slowly, you will see all of her upcoming events. And this could be up to 6 months in advance. So if you love Gabby, you can plan in advance. The other little feature that we've given performers is that if you are an event planner and you want to invite performers and you don't know how to contact them, so I've got a little, whoops. So here, please click here if you want to contact this individual. Takes you to a chart. Fill in your name, why you want to contact her. You hit send. Send request. It sends an email directly to Gabby. I don't monitor this at all, but then you can get in touch with Gabby. If I go back here and we go to look at venues, for example. So this is another way of promoting the performers and the venues. And if you say, well, what's happening tonight down at Rain Dog? Rain Dog, right here. Rain Dog has posted 148 upcoming events for the next 6 months, okay? So if I go to Rain Dog, going to Rain Dog, I get a Google map of where they are. I get other pertinent information about the venue itself and contact information. There's a write-up of what they offer and whatever they want to promote. We have a photo gallery that allows them to post up to 8 photographs, so we can see what Rain Dog is all about. And then, then if you keep on growing, it will list. Okay, all of their upcoming events. So, and all this is tied together back to the events as they're displayed on the homepage. So let me show that quickly and then we're done with this. Okay, so if you're on the homepage, you scroll down through the events that are listed on the homepage. And it shows you just the pertinent information. It's like, when is it? May 28th. It's 6 to 8, the venue, what that is, performance type. This is art and film. Location, it's in Centro. That's general. However, if you go down here and you click on an event, it takes you to a detail page for that event. And we are scrolling. And on that page is all standard information which is entered into it. So we can see who the performers are here, Gabby and Papacho. We can see details. We can see where it is. And who are the other performers who aren't registered but are performing. This is an area that tells you whether it's free, what the cost is, reservations, that sort of thing. And if there's a ticket link, we don't sell tickets, but the link is there. You click on that, it takes you right to ticket sales. You've got obviously your Google map. So you've got all of the information that you need. And if you want to, because everything is linked, if you want to find out more about Gabby, I can go and click on her, and it takes us right to Gabby's profile that you've saw before. So everything is connected, so you can find things. So that's the way the site was designed to work, and that's the way, fortunately, it works. when you're dealing with technology, you just never really know what you're going to get and when it's going to change. There we go. Okay, we're back on track. So, with any business, you run into hurdles. I ran into hurdles. The best laid plan is never the actual plan. So, but it's about how you approach solving that and finding solutions. So the first thing was, before I launched, performers I talked to, venues said, we're going to do this. We love this. We're going to sign up and so forth. Then we're launched and no one signs up and no one whatever and so forth. So I had to tackle that. And part of it is a cultural issue. Part of it is like David Mendoza told me that, Ron, you have to remember that with a performer, we don't think about what we're doing tonight until we get up this morning. So don't expect us to think far enough in advance to promote anything. And that was a reality. Most venues were controlled by a manager. Managers are and most of the performance venues are restaurants or bars, about 2/3 in town. And managers are the busiest people in the world. They manage from crisis to crisis. And the last thing they want to think about is promotion. So I made an association with the Restaurant Association. They were helping us and to get them to comply. But it finally came down to the fact that I hired somebody part-time who knew the city and had worked he's actually one of my full-timers now, been for 2 years, worked for tourism for over 12 years. He knew everybody. He knew his way around town. And we would go to the venues one by one. He would go there. Sometimes it took 3 or 4 trips because the manager said, I'll meet you at 3:00, and he doesn't show up at all. And I explained to him, taught him how to post, and that sort of thing. So the next challenge was then the performers. Some performers are very savvy. David Mendoza is very savvy, and there are others, Antonio Lazoya and others, about promoting. Others, not so much. And a lot of them are intimidated by technology, even if it's simple. So Fred Dannon actually suggested to me, and this was a brilliant idea, that I should create a WhatsApp number for performers or venues that needed help. I hired a junior in high school who was a musician and tech savvy. And so when someone needed help, they just went to our WhatsApp number. Boom, it went to Joey. Joey, asked them the questions and so forth, and Joey would help them post. And we're still doing this today. About half of our venues and performers are posting themselves, and the other half need help or encouragement. So those are the kind of ways that we kind of tried to tackle the challenges that we did. Then the other big habit or the challenge was breaking old habits. Up until that point, all the performers and venues in town that posted anything posted on Facebook. And Facebook was their reliable place to go, but it was the worst place to promote events. How many again? 10? Okay. So we had to educate people. Why Facebook wasn't as reliable as the service that we were providing. You can't search, you can't plan in advance. Someone posts after you, and you're driven down into the feed and so forth. So that was a challenge that we've had to deal with. So one of the ways that I've created businesses, as I mentioned, has been in creating collaborations, and I realized, too, from my background, that promotion was about the most important thing that I could do to build my recognition and let people know what was being offered in town and that I was there. If I build it and they don't know about it, they're not going to come. So we created a very aggressive promotion schedule. We're promoting weekly to over 200,000 people. I built alliances. I'll show you a couple here, if this will change. So I have an alliance with Cami with her new monthly Insiders News newspaper. Actually, Cami came to me. I am her resource for entertainment, and you can see right here we get a half-page ad and with our QR code for Cami in our alliance to help her promote performance. There we go. I have an ongoing relationship with Today Magazine, which is produced out of Querétaro by MTech, and for San Miguel and for Querétaro. And so I have a full page in there, so I am their entertainment source. And so every time somebody goes there and clicks and so forth, it is good for me. And if it's good for me, it's good for my advertisers, the more people that we actually are able to drive there. I have a relationship with Visit San Miguel, which is a Spanish-based activities website. We are their source of entertainment, primary source of entertainment. And they deliver to me just under 500,000 impressions per month of their people who come to San Miguel Live, which is fabulous for us. So that's important. So how do I make any money when I do make money? So I wanted to make this free from the beginning because I knew that if I made a charge for it, even though people suggested it, no one's going to sign up for something they have to pay for. So advertising is my sole source of revenue. It's been a struggle in this town, and it's been a struggle because it's a tourist town. And I learned this from Chris, who had been with tourism for so many years, that people don't think about marketing, businesses, most of them, or advertising. They just figure that tourists will walk in. So the mentality of advertising is a challenge. So before I ever launched, and this comes from my background, if I can change it, okay. I created professional-looking sales materials, and I sold my first advertisers, some big ones, before we ever launched. So it was on a promise of what we were doing, plus they looked at the quality of what we were presenting to them. And some of our promotional materials, including a promotion card with a QR code, which you can pick up many places around town and pick up at tourism if you're new in town. So that's what I have done. And then after my first year, the first year I said, I'm just going to let advertising go until I build the business itself. And, oops, I went the wrong way. There we go. And so the second year I hired a consultant who was a digital advertising consultant out of an agency in Mexico City. And he helped me build my strategy, helped me build some new products. And now we're advertising with using Meta and Google display ads in addition to the website. And so our regular website advertisers are getting as many as 70,000 impressions per month. And our top advertisers using our other products are getting up to 500,000 impressions per month. So that's been really quite good for us. So here, whoop, I think I hit it again. So by the numbers, 85 registered venues as of today, 150 performers. We're posting 150 plus events per week. We get per month in the high season, about 40,000 page views per month. More than 7,000 unique users. Average time on the site is 3 minutes, 30 seconds, which is good for the advertisers because it multiplies their impression. Our promotion is reaching about 1.4 million people per month. And if I can change, there we go. We come up 131,000 growing times in a Google search for entertainment in San Miguel with 5,200 clicks, and this keeps growing every single month, which is great. Facebook group has grown to over 5,000 members, and we get visits by 500 times a day. That's, on an average basis. Facebook page, 95. And here's where our viewers are coming from, our users. 20% are coming from San Miguel, and it just varies month by month. Non-San Miguel, Mexico, about 44%. USA, 32%. Canada, 3%. What's that tell us? We're being seen by people in San Miguel who are here, but we're also being seen by visitors who are planning to come here, which is really, really great. And that is one of the things that advertisers love. And I think that brings me to the end. So the bottom line is we're getting there. We created what we wanted to do and providing a quality service to San Miguel by providing reliable information. And we are fortunately growing every day, all a good thing. So thank you, Rotary.
Do we have time for maybe one or two quick questions? Anybody have a question?
Hi, thank you very much for being with us. I think your webpage is very productive. This is very exciting. And Ceci, my wife, appreciate that her show, which is this Friday and Saturday, is already there in San Miguel.
Good.
So thank you very much.
Okay.
What last question from here?
Not a question, a comment. Don't get rid of that 21-year-old.
Oh, he's now 24. No, I won't. He's amazing.
Thank you very much, Ron, for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Give you one of our mugs to drink your coffee at.
Perfect.
When you finally retire, you'll be able to enjoy that.
Soon.
Thanks
Soon.
a lot.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
excellent.